Yogananda writes, this is in a letter to a disciple, you must never lose courage. Divine Mother sent me to pilot you out of the clouds of your mind. Overcome all by constant inward calling on God and utmost devotion in words, thought, action, and obedience to Guru. Have no fear. You will never be alone. I shall ever be with you, and through Divine Mother, guard you from all harm, and will constantly whisper guidance to you. Be ever interested in doing for Divine Mother, no matter if wars, sickness, and death dance around you. That is the secret of victory over all troubles. Be cut to pieces, but never give up. Be a divine leech, suck at the blood of wisdom, even though torn to bits. A smooth life is not a victorious one. And I will give you lots of good karma, though you will get through. I will ever lift you up, no matter how many times you fall. Keep unceasingly trying to conquer. Divine Mother will help you to win through your own efforts and the blessings of the great Gurus. I am not building a mansion for you or giving you riches that will perish, but I am making an imperishable home with all riches for you in my Divine Mother's mansion. The topic I'm going to touch on today is fear and courage. And certainly fear, anxiety are very understandable and may seem to us to be justified in the world the way it is now. If we wanted to justify our fears, we could find many reasons. The danger is there if we don't pull together as a nation in the next few days. We could easily fall into the pattern that countries have followed who have failed to act quickly, who haven't drastically changed their habits. And while the danger is real, to be afraid, to have fear, is our choice. And ultimately, it's a choice whether we react with fear or we respond in a more positive way. And when we react with fear, then that fear becomes a bad habit that pulls us away from our true goals. And they don't serve us as a positive response would. And if we don't choose positive channels for our energy, then our energy will find its own channels. And more often than not, those channels tend to be into bad habits. And those habits lead us away from happiness. We don't want to try to suppress the old habit, but we want to choose a new channel for our energy flow. This is what an affirmation is. We choose a more attractive alternative to fear. Yogananda said, "The world will always have turmoil and trouble. What are you worried about? Go where the masters have always gone, to the shelter of God, from where they are watching and helping the world. You shall have safety forever, not only for yourself, but for all those loved ones who have been entrusted to your care by our Lord and Father. This world is one of duality. For every summer, there is a winter. The dancers will pass, as Swamiji said. The singing must end. And when winter comes, who are your friends? Who is your constant, divine friend? And now is the perfect time to get to know that divine friend a little bit better. In the early years of Yoganandaji's work in America, at one point he was faced with tremendous financial difficulties. He didn't have money to pay the mortgage on the property of the ashram, to pay bills, even to give the ashramites money so that they could live. And one day he walked out into the desert and he said to Divine Mother, I'm not going to come back unless you show me that I must. And he asked himself, was she not pleased with what he had done? And he prayed, Mother, I never wanted all this responsibility. I've done it only to please you. If you're not satisfied, I will gladly return to India. And finally she appeared to him, and in a glorious vision she said, I am your stocks and bonds. What more do you need when you have me? Dance of life and dance of death, know that these come from me, and as such rejoice. And soon after that, Guruji returned to the ashram, and several disciples stepped forward and helped, and he no longer had these financial problems. And so what else can we do besides channeling our energy in a positive way, choosing a positive alternative? What else can we do to live without fear? Practical things, we can make a list of our blessings, everything we're grateful for, and make a good long list and focus on these. Draw your attention to these blessings whenever the temptation comes to fear. And put out more energy. It's not a moment to take a rest. We might feel, oh, I'm staying home from work, I'm going to take it easy now. Just start doing something, almost anything really. Go for a walk. Watch all of our online talks and discourses every day. Talk to somebody positive who will lift you up. And stay busy. Forget about yourself by serving others. Guruji said during the Depression of the 1930s, he said, if I didn't have a job and I needed one, I would shake the world until it gave me a job. And what does shake the world mean? This is the kind of energy that we want to put forth. It means a lot of prayer. It means lots of effort in different directions. Affirmations such as, in the center of life's storms, I stand serene. In the center of life's storms, I stand serene. It means positive attitudes, non-attachment, and faith that it's all going to be okay, even though it may not seem so. And don't let fearful or anxious people affect you. Be influenced by positive people, positive thoughts. Fear is based on things, our wanting things to be different than they are. When we're non-attached, we accept things that come to us. We accept things as they are and then work from there. And lastly, we can imagine, we can think, what's the worst case scenario of what you're afraid of? And then accept that worst case scenario that you can imagine. What could possibly happen? You could die. So what? Death comes sooner or later to all of us. And we're all dependent on God alone. As Yoganandaji often said, if God stops ticking in your heart, then all your appointments must be canceled immediately. When we lose courage, we become discouraged. As Guruji referred to in his letter, he said, be ever interested in doing for Divine Mother, in serving her by serving others. We overcome discouragement by instilling courage in other people. And don't brood. Instead, act. In fact, let's do something practical together right now. Let's act. And I'm going to invite you all to stand up. And let us stand up, standing up tall, and feel like there's a string lifting the top of your head upward. And let's uplift the heart's feelings. Lift the chest up, lift the shoulders back and down and relaxed. And feel the heart, the center of feelings, and also a center of courage, of strength. And inhaling will draw that courage upwards. Now take a deep inhalation. Draw that courage up from your chest, your heart, up to the spiritual eye. And then exhale. Exhale any weakness, any fear. And one more time. Lift the heart, lift the chest. Inhale, lift that courage up from the heart up to the spiritual eye. And then exhale, let go of any negativity, any tiredness. Very good. Now let's do the super conscious living exercises together. And if there's any children in the room, invite them to join us. We combine an affirmation with a physical movement. And so do these with lots of energy, enthusiasm. Our first one, the activity, the motion is to walk in place. Let's do it together. And the affirmation in a loud voice, I am awake and ready. 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 Big smile. I'm awake and ready. 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 Wonderful. The next exercise of movement is arms to the side, in front, and above the head. And the affirmation, I am positive, energetic, and enthusiastic. Let's do it together. I am positive, energetic, enthusiastic. 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 Wonderful. The next one, we're going to use our knuckles and we're going to wrap the upper body, and the affirmation the affirmation is I am master of my body, I am master of myself. Let's do it together. I am master of my body, I am master of myself. I am master of my body, I am master of myself. I am master of my body, I am master of myself. And the next one, we're going to rub the body all over, and we're going to affirm, awake, rejoice, my body cells. Awake, rejoice, my body cells. Big smile. Awake, rejoice, my body cells. Awake, rejoice, my body cells. Awake, rejoice, my body cells. And 2 for the brain. Wrapping with the skull with knuckles, be glad, my brain, be wise and strong. 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 Let's talk to the brain cells. And with our fingertips, massage the scalp, and we're going to say to those brain cells, awake, rejoice, awake my sleeping children, wake. 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 Wonderful. Thank you so much. And let's conclude this section with an affirmation that we will do together. And I think we don't give enough importance to affirmation, and this is a perfect moment for doing affirmations, for doing an affirmation daily with our full attention, with energy, and cast aside any fear, any weakness. Yogananda ji said that words that are saturated with sincerity, conviction, faith, and intuition are like highly explosive vibration bombs, which have power to explode the rocks of difficulties and create the change desired. Very colorful and very expressive and powerful words there. And let's try to do our affirmation with all of this, that sincerity and conviction and faith, intuition and concentration. And I believe the words are on your screen for the affirmation that we'll do together. It's a long one, a longer one. Let's, very powerful words, let's focus on those words as we repeat them together. Let's repeat in a loud voice. God's light is within me and around me. With the sword of faith in my hand. With the love of God in my heart. I am a warrior of light. I join my brothers and sisters everywhere. To overcome fear with faith. Hatred with love. And disease with health. Let us fill the world with God's light. God's light is within me and around me.
God's light is within me and around me.
With the sword of faith in my hand.
With the sword of faith in my hand.
With the love of God in my heart.
With the love of God in my heart.
I am a warrior of light.
I am a warrior of light.
I join my brothers and sisters everywhere.
I join my brothers and sisters everywhere.
To overcome fear with faith.
To overcome fear with faith.
Hatred with love.
Hatred with love.
And disease with health.
And disease with health.
Let us fill the world with God's light.
Let us fill the world with God's light.
Let's do this in a whisper. God's light is within me and around me. With the sword of faith in my hand. With the love of God in my heart. I am a warrior of light. I join my brothers and sisters everywhere. To overcome fear with faith. Hatred with love. And disease with health. Let us fill the world with God's light. Let's now bring this thought into the superconscious. God's light is within me and around me, with the sword of faith in my hand, with the love of God in my heart. I am a warrior of light. I join my brothers and sisters everywhere to overcome fear with faith, hatred with love, and disease with health. Let us fill the world with God's light. Let us fill the world with God's light. I invite you all to take this affirmation and repeat it daily, and bring it into your conscious, subconscious, and superconscious minds. Oh.
And I wanted to start with a quote from Nayaswami Savitri from Ananda Village. And it's written in Nayaswami Asha's book, Swami Kriyananda, As I Have Known Him. And this is what Savitri had told Asha. The first time I heard Swami Kriyananda speak, a golden aura began to fill the room. It looked like the angel hair you sometimes see on Christmas trees, only instead of white, it had a beautiful golden color. I watched it as it wound itself around the hall until everyone was enveloped in it. The most important thing was not what Swami said. It was being in that golden aura. I had not had an experience like that before or since. Auras, in Autobiography of a Yogi, Yoganandaji mentions auras several times. He talks about the aura of Mahatma Gandhi, of Teresa Neumann, and also Sri Yukteswar. He said that when Sri Yukteswar's train was coming in, he said Sri Yukteswar's aura filled the whole train and platform with light. So Yoganandaji could see auras, and one of Yoganandaji's disciples, Kamala Silva, she said that she could see Yogananda's aura, and she wrote about it in her book, The Flawless Mirror. And Yoganandaji said, and our teachings say, that an aura is basically an electromagnetic field that radiates out from our core, from our energy center, from our astral spine. And there are so many different ways to strengthen that aura, and that's a little bit about what I'm going to talk about today. I think that we know that we need to start not depending on the material world to give us what we need. It offers us plenty of promises for happiness and security, and then it never really seems to be able to fulfill that promise. And of course, this is something that the gurus and the great masters have always told us, that in this material world, as spiritual beings, we will never be completely fulfilled. We will never be completely secure, because how can spiritual beings be fulfilled and satisfied lastingly in a material world? They're just like apples and oranges. And so, therefore, what do we do if the material world isn't where we're going to find it? Where do we find it? Well, the great masters have all told us it's within us. We are already a part of God. We come from God. Everything around us is a manifestation of God. We're a manifestation of God, and we will return to God. From joy I came, for joy I live. In sacred joy I melt again. We chant that chant often here. And so if there's any gap between that experience that we're having, do I feel like I'm living in joy? Do I feel like I've come from joy? If there's any sort of lack of faith or incongruity between our own experience and what we know to be true in our hearts and in our minds, then that's when we use meditation and yoga and all the tools that our gurus have given us in order to bridge that gap and strengthen our aura, strengthen our faith, and allow us to uplift our consciousness to be able to become more and more aware of these divine states. There is, as you know, within us, that we have different poles of energy flowing. We have one from the base of the spine to the top of the head, and that at the base of the spine sort of is represented our most gross nature, the most material and physical part of ourselves. And then up at the top of the head, if we brought our energy and our consciousness up, we would experience ourselves as the divine, as one with spirit. And we think of all of the definitions of superconsciousness, or all of the qualities of the divine, and what are they? Yogananda talks about them all the time: love and joy, peace and calmness, power and wisdom, sound and light. So all of those experiences, all of those eternal, infinite realities that are with us now, those transforming qualities that flow through us, we need to access those by strengthening our aura, by uplifting our energy, by expanding our consciousness, and having those experiences, because the opposite of those spiritual qualities, our soul nature, is our material nature and what the ego believes. What the ego believes is that it's separate. The ego thinks it's just this body. And if we are only these bodies, then yes, I would say we have some things to fear in this world. But we all know that we are much more than our bodies. But we have this flow of energy that our past, the lives that we've lived, that we've come from, they want to draw us back to more of our material nature. Our ego wants to bring us back to what we know, what it's secure with, what it's comfortable with. So it's always pulling us down. But our soul nature is always drawing us upward to be one with these divine qualities. So all of the teachings that our gurus have given us show us how to uplift our energy, expand our consciousness, to experience these divine realities that are within us and all around us. The other polarity that we have is from our calm center, and also a direction of energy, a polarity of energy that goes out into the world. And as long as we're living on the periphery, thinking that we'll receive our happiness from something outside us, receive our security from our bank account, our jobs, if we think that we're dependent on all of the things outside of ourselves to make us secure and happy. It won't happen. So when we come back in our center in meditation, we experience that calm center of who we truly are. We experience the expansion of our mind like a still, calm lake. And when our mind can be expanded and calm and still, we can become a perfect reflection of the light of spirit. It's like we can see the moon reflected in a calm lake. We can see and experience and comprehend spirit reflecting in our consciousness once we still it. That's why meditation is the most important thing that we can do to strengthen our auras, is to experience ourselves as that calmness and go through life with an aura of calmness and peace around us. We're always vibrating somewhere along the line between our ego nature, between what the ego thinks that we are, this body, and what the soul knows that we are, is infinite spirit. We're always vibrating somewhere in between those two extremes. And so whatever we do daily, using the tools of yoga, using the tools that they have given us, we can up the vibration. It's like every note on a piano has a different vibration. And so what are we tuning into to allow us to tune into a higher vibration? And again, it's all the teachings of our guru. It's what we talk about every Sunday. It's what we teach in all our classes. It's everything that they've told us to do. You want to be like me, a liberated master, they say? Do these things. We've shown you. We'll tell you again and again, please do them, because then you can be just like us, free. When we can experience ourselves as that calm center, as one with divine peace, divine light, divine vibrations such as Om, and divine love, then our perception of what's happening around us changes. We no longer look at the short-term perspective of, oh my God, look what's happening to me right now. What about my body? What about my bank account? It's more like we're looking at our lives through the longer rhythm perspective of the soul. And what is the soul's perspective? Many, 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 many lifetimes. We have surely gone through many crises, many illnesses, many accidents. You know, if we have passed away all these previous lives, there's probably no different way that we have experienced life and death and life and death again. And the longer rhythm perspective is, don't look at the short-term gain. Don't be upset by a short-term blip in the material world. Look at the long-term evolution of your soul. Where is your consciousness? Are you tuning in to the perspective of spirit and looking at the oneness of all creation, of all creatures? Or are you looking at what about me? And so perhaps if we have a very calm center, we can go out into very crowded traffic, and what used to bother us so much suddenly doesn't bother us anymore. And perhaps we can go outside and have a whole different world outside because of coronavirus. And had we just been a scared little frightened ego, I am just my body, this is all there is. And from that perspective, the world looks scary. But from the soul's perspective, this is another opportunity for me to lift my energy and rise above this challenge that the Guru is giving me. Because Divine Mother never gives us something that it's not for our own growth. Swami Jyotish says, nothing comes to us that Divine Mother gives us that's not for our spiritual growth or our entertainment. And he said, often we are not entertained. And sometimes we don't take advantage of that opportunity for growth because we have to put out the energy to overcome the obstacle. In this case, it may be fear. and insecurity. What's the solution? Rise above that. In the conscious mind, we can't find solution. We have to reach that superconscious mind and look at the situation from Divine Mother's perspective. She doesn't care if we're on this mud ball or not. She wants us to get out of this mud ball. And so she's doing a little dance and she's shaking it up. And she's, how are you going to respond? Where is your consciousness? Who are you going to tune into? Are you going to tune into the news, to the fear? There's some things good on the news. They're giving you very practical advice. But the consciousness of fear, we do not have to tune into. We'll tune into the infinite power, the infinite light of Divine Mother, of our gurus. Listen to their voice. Listen to Swamiji sing, chant, meditate. Do everything we know to expand our auras, work on the chakras. If Divine Mother was giving us such easy tests, we would never grow. Just like Keshava just read, an easy life is not a victorious life. If we were just to get little teeny tests now and again, what would be the good? How could we change our consciousness? We would not have the motivation to work on ourselves, to cling to the vibration of the gurus, to attune ourselves to their wisdom and power. Because when we do, they lift us up. We're their chelas. It's their job to lift us up. So we have to just be open, let them help us. Tune ourselves to them, they can pull us up. We know along this energy spine are our chakras. One of the ways we can expand our auras is to imbibe and exhibit and experience the positive qualities of each of those chakras. And we can just go through them very simply now, and just any aspect of your life, try to exude these qualities of the chakras, and automatically that energy will be rising in the spine, rising through that chakra up to the spiritual eye. And we always need to be gazing up at the spiritual eye, especially when we're working at the chakras, because we're talking about our energy spine, and as we gaze up, it draws that energy up. But what's the positive quality of the Mooladhara Chakra, the earth element? It's steadfastness. It's steadfastness to the path, to the Guru, to God and Divine Mother in the face of anything. I will practice meditation. I have more time than usual now to practice meditation. I will deepen my meditation. I will do it more. I will do energization 2 or 3 times a day. I will do the superconscious living exercises. I will do affirmation. Steadfastness to the tools that they have given us to find God. The second chakra, Swadhisthana, the water element, the positive qualities, acceptance of Divine Mother's flow. Whatever Divine Mother is giving me, giving us as a nation, I accept. And I take that challenge that this has been given to me, and I will rise above it with her help and with the Guru's help. So flexibility, creativity. What can I be doing to uplift myself and others? Intuition. What do I need to do in this moment? Those are the positive qualities of the Swadhisthana chakra. The third chakra, the Manipur, fiery element, fiery self-control. Control ourselves, not others. We don't need to manipulate others and control. We can't even control the world around us. We see that. When we try to receive all our security and happiness from the world, this is us trying to control things so that we feel safe. In a moment like this, we realize that that is not possible. And I think what Master said is that disasters would happen, cataclysms would happen. And when you think of it, Master was in the United States during the Great Depression and during World War II. And he just said, these cataclysms happen on the planet. How else can we wake up and understand that we cannot control the world, but we can control ourselves? And that is spiritual growth. Stop trying to control others, stop trying to control the world, and learn to control your own energy. Yoga's chitta vritti nirod. We need to neutralize our emotions. We need to neutralize our reactions. We don't want to create more karma. So let's learn how to neutralize. And they've taught us meditation, Kriya Yoga. So fiery self-control. We want to control our energy, stay in our spine, stay in our center, because our friends and our family who know that we meditate, they'll be turning to us. They may have complained earlier when we would disappear and meditate, or that we were never going out late to bars anymore. What are you doing? What are you following? What is this? Now they're probably calling you. I know several people have told me their friends are calling them. They're going to depend on you to be that strong center. So we have to control our energy. We're not only doing it for ourselves, we're doing it for the world. Control ourselves, self-mastery. The heart chakra, the anahat. We can let it fly out in emotion and fear, or we can bring that energy into our calm center and offer our heart's energy up to God. Love God, devotion to God, devotion to Divine Mother, loving others, serving others. This is all from the heart, positive qualities of the heart. The Visuddha Chakra, the ether element, positive qualities, expansion, expand our aura, calmness, let it expand. You stay calm, include others in your calmness. Walk around expanding your aura, include others. Actually, don't walk around, stay at home. But include others in your aura, and you will help them more than you could be if you were out on the streets, perhaps communicating the virus to other people. Calmness, expansion. And from the Agya Chakra, surrender to divine will. My will be your wills, God. Thy will be done. Thy will be done. It reminds me of, remember, of course, the story and the Jesus Christ when he was crucified. His disciples had no idea that this was going to be the end of his life. He thought that when they went into Jerusalem on that Easter, Good Friday, that he would reveal his power and sort of become, if nothing else, king of the Jewish people, and show everybody his power. But what happened? He was arrested, beaten, crucified. And his disciples had no idea. They were so frightened. I mean, here they are, Christ's, disciples. They were so frightened. But they stayed together in faith. And just like we can stay together online, together, meditating, coming to classes together, having online satsangs together, interacting, coming together in faith, they stayed together. And when they were locked up in a room together, and they thought it was the end of the world, Jesus Christ appeared and said, "My peace I give unto you." Nothing was what it seemed. Nothing was what it seemed. It looked like complete disaster from all sides. And it was the glory of God. And it was Christ's way of saying, life is immortal. Life is eternal. You have nothing to fear. My peace I give to you. So we may think we may know what's going on here, but we don't. And nothing is as it seems. God is in charge. He's giving us this test so that we can grow. Why else were we born? Jesus said, "For this hour I was born." That's us. And I'm going to read something to close. I'm looking for my glasses. I don't see them, so I'm just going to hold my book. I can just hold my book back slightly. This is from Swami Kriyananda's The Promise of Immortality. It's in the chapter Resurrection and the Meaning of Divine Tests. Swami says, a true devotee offers up his trials bravely, even lovingly to God. He sees every test as an opportunity for spiritual gain. Each test passed brings him an increase of inner freedom, joy, and wisdom. At last he learns to behold God's love behind every trial. No longer do his tests, then, seem like punishment, whether karmic or divine. Let's all be together and let's rejoice for these tests, for God is with us and he is carrying us back to him. Joy to you.